And welcome to Long Live the Queen, where we talk about the women who made history. And by we, I mean the royal we, because it's just me. Today we're going to talk about Marie, Duchess of Brabant. Marie was born in the year of our Lord, 1198, into complicated circumstances. Her father was the King of France, King Philip II, the God-given vampire king. It's a long story. We have a lot of lore here. Her mother was married to the king, and in practice was the acting queen of France. But the king had married a gal named Ingeborg and then kind of shut her away and pretended she didn't exist. That drama is in Ingeborg of Denmark's episode, so check that out. So her legitimacy was questioned. She had an older half-brother, Louis the Lion. His legitimacy was not questioned. He was the undisputed son of the King of France, heir to the throne. Princess Marie lived at the castle like other royal children. Her father was the king, and she was his daughter. But the Pope said her mother wasn't the queen. She was just having children with an already married king, making her a princess or a bastard, depending on who you asked. Because her legitimacy was questioned, the question of her betrothals were complicated. But she was the undisputed and possibly legitimate daughter of the King of France. When she was 2 years old, she was betrothed to 2-year-old Prince Alexander of Scotland, the future King Alexander II. She could have been Queen of Scotland. Both of his future wives have an episode, Joan of England and Marie de Coucy. That same year that toddler Marie was engaged, her mother had another baby. This time also a boy with questionable legitimacy. But the spare the king was looking for. Marie's half-brother was also married to the King of England's niece, because everyone's related. The following year, a lot went down. Her father publicly left her mother, announcing he was going back to his second wife, the imprisoned Ingeborg. But privately, he stayed living with Marie, her brother, and her pregnant-again mother, Agnes. But then Queen Agnes died, possibly in childbirth. Her baby also didn't survive. Marie was about 3 years old. But then the Pope said her and her brother Philip were indeed legitimate. Sorry about your mom, here's your legitimacy. When she was 4, bad news. Her betrothal with the future King of Scotland was broken, but good news, she was re-betrothed to Prince Arthur, one of the claimants to the English throne. His chief rival, his uncle John. So her father was attempting to upgrade, in his opinion, from the future King of Scotland to the future King of England, and promptly sided with Prince Arthur against Prince John. But there was court intrigue. Prince John made Marie's father an offer he couldn't refuse. Aquitaine and Normandy back under the domain of France, nearly doubling France's size. All he had to do was abandon Arthur. So he's like, yeah, I'll totally do that. So the betrothal kind of ended, but it for sure ended not long after when Prince Arthur was disappeared and never seen again. So this started her single era at the age of 5. It didn't last long, though, because she was married to Margrave Philip. She was 12 or 13. He was 36. Ew. It's not an appropriate age gap. But he died the following year of dysentery, leaving no children behind. His twin sister was designated his heir. So Marie was a widow at the ripe old age of about 14. She entered the second leg of her single era. This one was even more short-lived. She was married for the second time at the age of 15 to 48-year-old Henri, Duke of Brabant. So she was upgraded to a duchess. But this husband was even older than the first one. And that's when this junior branch of the royal family started to fade out of history. At some point over the next decade, Marie had at least 2 children, both girls, Elizabeth and Marie, but Marie died young. Also happening over this decade was Marie's older half-brother, Louis the Lion, starting to have children of his own, displacing her brother Philip as spare. In 1223, when Marie was 25, her father, King Philip the God-given, died. The king is dead. Long live the king. The new king was her older half-brother, Louis the Lion. Her position at court was diminished. She had been Princess Marie, daughter of the king. Now she was Duchess Marie, half-sister of the king. And Marie died the following year, maybe from childbirth, but also maybe not. We don't really know, at the age of 25 or 26. Her only surviving child we know about was Elizabeth. who was married to a count sometime between the ages of 12 and 20. She was married to him for 11 years when he died. And then she married another count and spent 9 years with him, and then he died. I don't know if Elizabeth ever had children with either of her husbands. I'm thinking none that survived, or at least none that would have become a count or countess. And their line kind of fades to black. And that's where I'll leave it for now. What did you think of Marie, Duchess of Brabant? Born a disputed princess, almost the Queen of Scotland and England, turned countess, turned duchess. She was married twice to men way too old for her. It seems her consent was not required, but it's also so common for that time. I have an update on the Norway-Australia rivalry. They're basically tied. They're battling it out for 5th place listenership, but it can change by the minute, guys. This is a tight race. You can share your thoughts with me at longlivethequeenpodcast@gmail.com or on Facebook or Instagram at Long Live the Queen Podcast. Long live to all the queens out there, and until next time, bye.
You'll be remembered.
Thanks for listening.